It's interesting that although you had the physical ability to perform various tasks, way more than the average man, it's today that you feel your most healthiest. Reiterating what you said previously, health is much more than simply having the six pack. And it seems that life circumstances guided you down an unpleasant yet fruitful route to where you are currently. Can you share with us the prelude to your multiple sclerosis diagnosis?
Right, that's a good question. I mean, the prelude to the diagnosis of my health challenge, if I go back to May, January, February, March 2001. I mean, in hindsight, when I look at that era, that time, I can see it now as a timeline, and I can clearly see the sequences that led to where I was. This is 20 years ago I'm talking about. This is the year 2001. And I can remember losing my brother. That was in March 2001. And then I can remember I'm fully aware of how I was in the time after losing my brother. We were very close. He was my friend. We were 6 years apart, but you know we did so many things together when I lived in Bristol, and when I moved to London, we were always in communication. And you know, due to the path that he took in his life, he ended up losing his life prematurely at the hands of someone else, and that was a big shock for me. But looking back in hindsight, I can see the processes. It's I can remember the weekend before my brother passed away. I can remember we had this conversation that we'd never had before. It was so deep and profound, where we spoke about, different religions and different social concepts, and we went through the whole shebang. And then the following weekend, he was gone. And, you know, mentally, I felt I was dealing with this loss by drinking more, having the odd spliff here and there. And I felt I was dealing with things quite well. I had a lot of anger and, shall I say, vengeful thoughts at that time. But I was comfortable with them because I felt they were normal. I felt that, hey, this is how I'm supposed to feel. Someone just killed my brother. So me feeling this way, angry and vengeful, is a normal thing. But it wasn't my nature. It wasn't my nature to have those thoughts. And I think I was trying to suppress those thoughts, or to nullify them by drinking more heavily, which I wasn't really a drinker. I mean, I was Mr. Fit. I was Gary the boxer, Gary the runner, Gary the rock climber, Gary the athlete, Gary the, you know, Mr. Fix It in terms of physical activity. But what was to follow several months after the loss of my brother? Even when I look at it now, it seems strange in the sense that it was in September of 2001. It seems surreal. I mean, I was in hospital, lying on a hospital bed. I'm going to lead up to how I got into hospital. But hearing on the news whilst I was in hospital that a large, or shall I say, a disaster had occurred in New York City, where a plane had crashed into one of the twin towers. And then, as we know, a plane had crashed into the other twin tower. It's like, for me to be there at that time, and now I'm reflecting on that time, it seems like everything, which I do believe now, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. No matter how painful it can seem or how pleasant it can seem, everything is synchronized the way it's supposed to go and the way it's supposed to be. But again, without drifting away from the point, the prelude to my diagnosis, it was one day in September. I mean, prior to this, I'm studying at university. I was studying sports science. I was learning the scientific application of exercise and exercise psychology, and also the physical aspects of exercise, including diet. And as I'm talking about this, I remember other things I was doing when I wasn't at university, and that was, listening to, reading metaphysical books and learning about the power of the mind and how the mind can influence the body, how the mind can either help or hinder the body. Um, I was learning about from people like Anthony Tony Robbins, Dr. Wayne Dwyer, um, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and these guys were starting to influence me in a more alternative sense, in a different way of looking at how we see our physical body and reality in general. So I can remember whilst I was in hospital, because by now, September, it's in September, I woke up one morning and I went to use the bathroom. It was very early in the morning, and I found that I didn't get to the bathroom. I collapsed on the floor. I found it strange because I couldn't move. I've never collapsed before. It was a strange situation. I wasn't drunk, and it only dawned on me that something was seriously wrong when two ambulance crew members came through my front door and were trying to get me onto a stretcher to bring me to an ambulance. That's when I realized something was seriously wrong. And even then I can remember resisting the whole process because I had read various other books about being the perfect patient and how it helps the medical process, or the NHS, so to speak. If you are that ideal patient, you listen to what they say, you do what they do, what they ask you to do, etc., etc. You take what they tell you to take. So I'm aware of this process. I'm aware of this. I'm aware of these. You know, social expectations or norms, but at the same time, I'm finding the whole thing really amusing. I'm thinking, how comes I'm here on this stretcher and I'm being taken into an ambulance? It's really, really strange. And I'm going to see where this journey takes me because I really didn't know what was going on. I wasn't sure if I had a stroke. I wasn't sure if I had too much to drink and it somehow affected me in some way. I don't know if I smoked something I shouldn't have done, which I know I would have been aware of that. Um, I don't know what was going on. I don't know if I had a heart attack. I don't know what had taken place. So there I was now in hospital, looking up at the ceiling and wondering what's going to happen next.